What up, what up, what up? It's Ray V. Let's get it.
Call me a lover boy, simp, Libra. It's more than love sick. I got a fever. Feelings overloading. Not to be a diva. Standing 10 toes down. I'm not gonna leave you.
We're going to react to day 3 of the NFL draft, rounds 4 to 7, through a Superflex Dynasty fantasy football lens. We're also going to check out the undrafted free agents a little bit afterwards. So let's get into it.
All right, let's get on with the day 3, rounds 4 to 7. Not gonna lie, I recorded it. It was like 30 minutes earlier, and did not save. Don't know what's up with it. Didn't like during my test run it saved, so let's hope for the best. Hopefully, I don't waste another 30 minutes. But let's get it. Jermod McCoy right here. Pretty crazy. His story with the bone plug and everything, and his cartilage and everything, tissue. And the opposite knee, the knee that he's not recovering in for his ACL. That's why he fell so far. He was a projected top 10 pick just a while ago, which is pretty crazy. But Raiders might have gotten a steal right here. First pick of the 4th round. Maybe. If he's all fine, all good, all dandy, that'd be tight. But let's continue with our offensive guys. Brandon Thomas right here. I had him in my rankings. I saw that McDaniels really wanted Brandon Thompson. So hopefully that's a good pick. Hopefully they designed some usage for him, some scheme plays and stuff. He could be a decent receiver. Hopefully. To ramble on about the Niners here a little bit. Sorry, Niner fan. Got the Niner jersey on. Got to rep them one day. I think the 4th round was pretty good. They didn't reach too hard on the 4th round. They reached a little bit, but made sense. D tackle was pretty good. But the AI, you gotta ban AI because it's crazy. You can compare it to all our other drafts. It just doesn't look good for the most part. Sometimes maybe you just have to stick to the big board, the consensus board. I know Grant Cohn was asking about it the other day. He's not scared to ask the pessimistic, the hard questions, and maybe he's a little too pessimistic, but I like it. I like to see the other side. I don't like to see sunshine and rainbows all the time. But horrible. They said that their big board isn't the same as everyone else's big boards. They're basically saying like they do stuff. They use AI. They know what they're doing. You look at the last few draft classes. I don't know. I know it's a little tough out there. It is what it is, but not looking good. Not looking good. Anyway, Jonah Coleman. This is a pretty good spot for him. He could definitely take over J.K. Dobbins' role, and he's definitely going to eat into. I wouldn't say he's eating into R.J. Harvey's role because R.J. Harvey was supposed to be a complement back anyway. He was never supposed to be the 3-down back. As you could see from last season, he was not as efficient at all when J.K. Dobbins went down. His usage went up, but his yardage went down. He was not good between the tackles all the time. He was really just PPR thriving and red zone thriving, end zone thriving rather. Nose for the end zone though, so they might keep him there. So this is really good landing spot for Jonah Coleman, to usurp an injured or coming back from injury J.K. Dobbins. Kind of sucks for Harvey. We already expected a dip. He survived free agency, but the draft got him. So he's going to drop a bit, but he should go into the original role he was supposed to have last year. And I think he's still going to be as efficient, as good, or more efficient, and probably as good as he was, like fantasy-wise. Kate Klubnik right here. It's a pretty good pick. Just in case they win too many games, maybe they cut short on the Geno Smith experience and go straight to Klubnik. Maybe they play a decent amount of ball this year and they win too many games. They can't get Arch Manning, they can't get Dante Moore, something like that. And Kate Klubnik could take over, or that's just hopium. Like I'm saying, super flex leagues, especially QB hoarder leagues, where everyone values them way too highly. You just gotta cut it. As soon as he gets a starting chance, trade, take whatever you can. Maybe he's the next something, or he could just walk away. This guy might be the next Brock Purdy and hold the team for the next 5, 6, 7 years, or he could just walk away, take a 2nd round pick. He probably got him in the 3rd, 4th. Maybe people didn't even draft him. You take your money, walk away. This is probably what I would do. Elijah Surratt right here. Like Surratt, don't love his landing spot. Love it for Baltimore. Don't love it for his fantasy production. They already got Jacoby the other day. So this could be good. Could not be good for him. It's definitely good for Lamar Jackson having more weapons to throw to, and they were shoring up the offensive line in the beginning of the draft. So good for Baltimore, bad for his production. Let's see. Wetjin. I'm gonna click these guys I don't recognize. But for the most part, I know that they're return specialists or they're blocking guys and the tight ends as well. But I did that earlier, so I'm gonna do it for you guys still, so you guys could see it. So this is a return specialist type dude. That's why I didn't have him in my rankings or anything, or wasn't really looking at him. Mike Washington, you guys know my sentiment about him. I really liked him. David Montgomery, bursty, more acceleration, more versatile. Hate the landing spot for him, kinda. You know, they are bringing over the Seattle offense. Was it Kubiak? I forget his name. I think it was Kubiak. But they're bringing the 1-2 punch over. So maybe this works out for him. Maybe this is one of the better things for him to be a 1-2 punch guy with Genty. Don't think it was going to be 50-50. Maybe 60-40, 70-30-ish to Genty. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll see if they want Genty just more in the versatile pass catching 3-down role, and then have Mike Washington taking the brunts of the hits, maybe the 20s to 20s or something. So this could, in theory, this looked really ugly because I had thought he had a chance to be like the guy on a team if he got drafted to a team with a weak running back depth chart. But not as horrible once you talk it through. Think about it. He could take a role with the Raiders in their 1-2 punch game with Genty. Where everyone's talking about how he's like a David Montgomery but better, more acceleration, this and that. And talking about Genty, he could be like a Gibbs light, maybe just kind of close to Gibbs. Not really, but you know what I mean. So maybe they could have their own Sonic and Knuckles 1-2 tandem over here as well. Maybe we could see. That's definitely what everyone's gonna say though. Skylar Bell, I thought that was a pretty good pick. He's pretty good, and it spells well for DJ Moore because they didn't get a super high drafted wide receiver. First 1, 2, 3 rounds. That just means that they're gonna work the offense through him. Obviously, like that's what we're all thinking, but this is definitely what it's showing now that they didn't not care to put effort into the wide receiver room. But this is the 4th round, day 3 that they started to try to address it. So that's pretty good for him. This guy was pretty good, so I think he can really do some work with Josh Allen and all them. Just depends if how much they're going to run, how much they're going to throw. But are they only throwing, or are they only running because they didn't have competent receivers, or vice versa? Are the opposite? Are they only are they just not throwing? Are they just running? Sorry. Are they running the ball because they don't have good receivers, or are they running the ball because that's their game plan? Is what I was trying to say. But now we'll see because now they're getting competent receivers, receiving options. So now we'll see which one they want to go with. Niners right here. Got to cry about him real quick. Offensive tackle. I think that was a good pick. I think this guy was a good pick. I don't think this guy was projected too crazily down. Good enough. Decent pick. All right. Anyway, tight end right here. Hibner, I believe he's a blocking tight end. I'm just gonna click it, open it. Route runner, fluidity, point attack, versatile tight end, different spots on the passing field. So he might be a little bit out there. He might, not necessarily take the likely role, but he could be on a 2 tight end set. Decent pass catcher. It looks like didn't look like too much blocking. Bryce Lance though, love this for Tyler Shuck. I hope y'all listened to me when I said go get Tyler Shuck because he is like the only winner of this draft. Look at all these weapons that he got. He got 2 receivers right now. He got Oscar Delp as well. They're eating. So that's pretty good for him. That's a good landing spot. Definitely more better for the Saints offense in general. It'll definitely help Etienne or Etienne, Travis Etienne. In the backfield, no more stacked. The boxes won't be stacked. Definitely helps Shuck, gets more weapons to throw it to and everything. So that's pretty good for him. Right here, Niners. I think this cornerback's pretty decent. I don't know if he was supposed to fall or anything, but just need something to cry about with the Niners. You know it is. Kobe Young. I want to say returner, but I don't really remember. Or prototypical size. Yeah, they're either returners, blockers, or they got good traits where they could be something like a developmental. As a blocker, he's technique. Yeah. So maybe this guy means something. I still got to look at everyone else's who got drafted for sure. See their game, see if it's pretty good or not. Worth top 48 in fantasy drafts. Maybe or sleeper mentions. So gotta look at that. So Virgil, wrong frame, fluidity, good balance. 18 contested catches, look like a possession type of receiver, developmental guy. Let's go next. Center over there, linebacker over here. Justin Jolie. Um, Pretty good spot for him. Hopefully, Sean Payton just, loves to throw the word Joker around. So Justin Jolie, Joker, JJJ. Hopefully, he just calls him a Joker. Hopefully, they don't have Evan Ingram. I don't know if they re-signed him or whatever. I think he was on a 1-year deal when they took him last season. So hopefully, he's not in the way. He can play. Justin Jolie can just get the work of the offense and everything. If Evan Ingram is still there, he gets to learn from him, blah, blah, blah. Year 2, year 3, breakout for tight ends, the whole shenanigans with it. So, either way, that's a pretty decent tight end dart that you would get with Justin Jolie. Bredesen. I don't think this guy was anything in fantasy land. H-back, yeah. So, they might use him as a lead blocker or a halfback. Emmett Johnson. This was a pretty good landing spot for him. Sucks that they got Kenneth Walker now, but he's definitely going to play behind him. Maybe they play Kenneth Walker and Emmett Johnson 1-2 punch type of thing because they saw that Kenneth Walker thrived in the 1-2. You know, Pretty good. He was pretty good in the 1-2 game. Maybe they're just gonna copy that, or something like that. Even though well, as soon as Charbonnet went down, Kenneth Walker went off. But that was for the last like 2-3 games of the season, not necessarily the entire 17 games of a regular season and everything. So maybe a 1-2 punch him. But this is a pretty good landing spot for him. He can definitely earn a role alongside Kenneth Walker for sure. Tanner Koziel, this guy is pretty good. Sucks that Brandon Strange is already there, and I believe they took a blocking tight end. I forgot what round, but they took him in day 1 or 2, day 2, I believe. And then I forgot what else I was saying about this guy earlier. But maybe they two tight end set, with them, and that's two with Brandon Strange, and those two pass catching tight ends, pretty good pass catching tight ends, and that just helps the offense. That helps Trevor Lawrence a lot. Nicholas Singleton, this is a good grab right here. Surprised that the Giants, not gonna look at to see where the Giants are picking and everything, but surprised the Giants didn't want to get him here and just add to their 2-headed committee right now. I don't know if they have a third guy right now. I forget his name last year. I don't know if he's still on the team, but it's a pretty good spot for him. I think Tony Pollard, he could definitely eat up Tony Pollard snaps, and I believe Tony Pollard and Tajay Spears are both on expiring contracts. I believe they're both done after this season. So he has a pathway all the way to the top. It's right here, there for him to take. He's coming off his I believe there's a broken foot or broken bone in his foot right before or during the Senior Bowl. So he didn't do his combine and everything, but hopefully pass production shows or pass production prevails. He's able to get a good spot, good role, and ascend the depth chart, running back depth chart on the Titans. Kendrick Law, I don't think, 540, good route runner, physicality, so he's a blocker type of dude. Pretty good. And, they need all those guys in tight ends. For actual football. Start all 15 games, 12.1, break tackles, not bad. Generates push. So these two don't look like they are real fantasy assets. Blockers, developmental blockers type of guys. Kugas, Cal Poly, fullback, he's did all the stuff. Adam Randall right here. Thought that was a really good pick. I know Keaton Mitchell left to the Chargers, so I don't think they have another running back. Unless it's another guy who was a rookie, or those guys they draft late in the rounds, like a year or two ago. Not really sure off the top of my head. But I thought Randall was a good fit for them. He could definitely just be a two, the second guy, do the Keaton Mitchell stuff, the receiving role.
even though Mitchell wasn't receiving too much, he just played to relieve Henry. I don't remember if he was receiving too much, but whatever. He is, converted wide receiver over to running back. Um, Definitely think he can catch and be like that good part of the role, receiving back. And if Derrick Henry, somehow calls it quits, I think Randall is a good three down back if they like him enough to where he could be good. Especially with Derrick Henry in front of him, he could still develop his running back skills. I believe he was only a full time running back for 1 year this last season, so he gets the NFL help. Teaching him all the intricacies of being a running back, as well as learning from Derrick Henry. So that's pretty cool. It's funny because they were uh, people were not saying Derrick Henry was his comp, like the way he plays, but his size, 6'3", 232. That's Derrick Henry's size, and it's funny that he went over there. I saw a clip that said that the owner of the Ravens is actually the one that made this pick. They were in the fifth round right here, and he was like, "Hey guys, can I make a pick?" And then the coach was like, or GM was like, "Oh, I mean, you are the owner of the team, so yeah." And they talked it through. He didn't just stamp Adam Randall, but he talked it through. He said he watched the tape, this and that. So maybe he only thought he saw Derrick Henry, this big old dude running the ball. Hopefully, but as a pick of an owner, it can go either way. Everyone's just gonna blame the owner for this pick, or they're gonna try to push him on the field and be like, try to make the owner happy and everything. Whatever way you want to lean, but I do like that pick for them. Cyrus Allen, I don't think I remembered him. Blah blah blah. Has this one good spot space, burst out of breaks. So decent. Receiver could be on the team. Could make the team, I should say. Um, we'll have to look at him later. Kevin Coleman Jr. Really liked him pre-draft, and then he lands on Miami. Maybe he pushes out Malik Washington. Maybe he pushes out Colbert. Maybe they just roll. Maybe Washington rolls out their three new receivers that they just got this draft. I forget his name. Douglas, the first guy they drafted, and then Chris Bell, and then right here Kevin Coleman Jr. Maybe. This definitely helps. Definitely, it could have been better for Malik Willis, but they could have got better receivers and everything. But it's not bad, not bad. They're building something around him. Cole Payton right here. Sucks, it would have been funny if he went to the Saints, the Taysom Hill type of role player that he could have been if they transitioned him over to, a versatile type tight end, Taysom Hill role, and put him in the Saints. But he lands here on the Eagles. Don't know if they just want some rushing-y quarterback similar to Jalen Hurts, where they could, have the same type of skill set if Jalen Hurts ever goes down, something like that, similar. I don't know if they want him to, 6'3", 232. If they want him taking the tush pushes away from Jalen Hurts, doesn't get hurt that way. I don't know if they want to put him at a tight end because they just drafted Sowers and they still have Dallas Goedert over there. I don't know what they want. Maybe they can push. I don't know. Maybe they can make him a quarterback. I have no idea. It's kind of unfortunate that he landed here. Any other spot you probably, maybe he plays fullback, maybe he plays tight end, maybe. No, I don't see any of that right here. I just see, a guy playing who can mimic Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts' offense, if he ever goes down, is really what I'm seeing. Didn't love that. So probably won't even get drafted in rookie drafts now. Not that he probably should have. I still had him there because I value quarterbacks. But now it doesn't look likely that he'll be able to ever get a starting job. And you'll be able to trade him for something, Unfortunate. Offensive tackle here. I saw that this guy wasn't even supposed to be drafted in most mocks. Maybe 7th round. So, Niners, you just got to live with it. He's athletic and he's a blocker. So that's what this guy is. So let's try to move on. 6th round. Taylon Green. I had him in I believe my honorable mention. So it's pretty good right here. Good landing spot. If Shador doesn't work out, if Deshaun Watson doesn't work out, and they play into a good enough spot, where they don't have a top pick next season, and they can't pick one of the top QBs, played themselves out of it. I could see him being being something. He's 6'6", 227, got some good prototype size. as a quarterback. You know, he has the arm, I believe. Yep, he has the arm. Um, you know, he could be something, could not be something. You know, Browns is not the worst landing spot, especially for tight end. For QBs, they have a QB carousel. You know, going on over there, so he could end up with a landing spot, and you could trade him. You know, the way I like to play, the way you know, just take your money, walk away. Maybe we'll see. I believe this guy's a blocking tight end. Wants to transfer, blah blah, quick bonus. I gotta look at him. He's not a blocking tight end. Katron Allen, pretty good spot for him. They are going to, you know, they have JCM and they have, I believe, Rashad White went over there. So, you know, he could definitely shove his way in there, at least as a three down back, or I mean, a three-headed committee, and earn a role that way. Sucks that he didn't go to somewhere worse. I mean, this is a backfield that he could definitely jump into, but like if he went to somewhere like I don't even know off the top of my head, like New York, probably would have been a similar situation that he just has to fight his way from a three-way committee to a role. If you know if the Cardinals didn't take Love, you know, he could have fought his way into a role there, something like that. I do like Katron Allen, so it's going to be somewhere there, somewhere in my rankings, top 48. Barry and Brown, you know, dang, they just added all the receivers over here. And Preston and Speed, so this guy will take the top off. I don't know if they'll use him. Yeah, kick returns. Don't know if they'll use him more than that, unfortunately, with all the other receivers they took today, or this draft. This guy's not a polished route runner, so this guy's developmental. Built more like a running back, arm tackles. Interesting. I don't think I had that guy anywhere. Linebacker, receiver. Return specialist. Yeah, fast guy, deep threat. Return man. Yep. CJ Daniels. I remember the first time I was doing this, I was like, I don't know about this guy. You know, it doesn't really look like anything. And I was like, wait, hold up. The Rams drafted him. We are in the sixth round. Could this be the next Puka Nakua? Probably not, but you know, the Rams are pretty good at drafting, especially their late picks. They know what they're doing. They know how to scout well. You know, their AI, their RAS scores, the way they probably make a chart up of their guys that they want. So functional movements, you know, displaying. He isn't a burner. That's totally Puka. You know, effective game speed. He has effective ball skills, adjusting well to poor throws and making catches. You know, probably because he's on Miami. The catch, you know, he picks up extra yards, but not overly dynamic. This is the next Puka Nakua, y'all. Nah, just playing. But you know, he could be good. Rams are pretty good at drafting, not gonna lie. Demon Claiborne, though, this is a good spot for him. He will be able to, you know, fight for a role behind Jordan Mason, behind Aaron Jones. You know, Aaron Jones barely returned this last year, this offseason. I believe he took like the veteran minimum, or you know, he had to readjust his contract and everything, take the minimum or whatever it was. Jordan Mason last year, Aaron Jones was hurt a good amount of times, and Jordan Mason did nothing with it. He had a chance to take the job and run away with it, did nothing with him. You know, Niner guy here. Feel like he should have done better. He could have done better. He choked pretty hard. So, Demon Claiborne, feel like he can take over. He has a chance to be one of those guys who just takes over the backfield. But we have to remember, we're in round 6 here. These late round running back guys, they don't have a long shelf life usually. So if he ever gets the starting job, you know, maybe you ride it out through the season before next season starts during the off season next season. You got to move them. You got to walk them away. You know, there's numerous guys. James Robinson, you know, he was already on the way out, getting replaced. They drafted ETN already, HN already before he tore his Achilles. Who else? Damian Pierce, you know, won the job. You know, faltered off towards the end of the season his rookie year, and everyone thought he was going to be the guy. Nope, he was not the guy. I believe that year that offseason they traded for Joe Mixon. Either that or he played the whole year and he just sucked, and then they traded for Joe Mixon the next season, something like that. But as much as you know, I want to believe in the hype, you know, I had this guy on the list. You know, hey, sometimes you just got to take your money and walk away. Maybe write him out for the season and then walk away as soon as that's, you know, the next off season starts, something like that. But a good lining spot nonetheless. 4-4-4, 40-yard dash, that's 4 passes. So take the top off. it's a weird pick, in my opinion, for the Seahawks. You know, they only had 4 picks coming into the draft. I don't know if they traded back and were able to lobby up some more picks or anything, but I feel like their receivers are all set. And I guess that's just depth. I can't just have 3 receivers and just say you're going to be okay. But they already have Rashid Shaheed too as a returner and everything, so that's a weird pick. I guess just depth. You know, you need depth. C.J. Williams, take a good build, non-vertical threat. So these guys don't look like the biggest factors in fantasy. Probably not. From what I remember when I was looking at them the first time. Punter, linebacker, da da da. Okay, and we're on to the seventh round. Jaden Williams, tackle, wide receiver right here. I think he's a returner. Vertical threat. Maybe he's just a vertical threat. That's cool. Take the top off type of dude. That's cool. Tight end injuries. I don't remember. Even now, I said I didn't look it up. I don't remember their tight end right now. It's definitely not Uzuma. That's an old head. That's an old head guy. Whoever their tight end is right now, Gesicki. That's who it is, right? They still have Gesicki. Yeah. So if Gesicki doesn't resign, or I don't know if he's on the contract or on the payroll for this year, but you know, tight ends take their year 2, year 3 breakout. So maybe he could sit behind Gesicki. You know, the tight end in the Bengals offense is pretty decent at times, especially with Jamar Chase or T. Higgins is down. You know, they usually have a role. It definitely is a tight end threat in that pass. You know, in their heavy passing offense, touchdown threat. You know, each week. So that's pretty good. Decent landing spot for him, but we got to remember round 7 right now. So he has some good weeks. Maybe just trade him, walk away. Quarterback right here, just really crazy that Nussmeier was projected #1 overall last season or last year, a year ago, and you know, he did not get taken. I think there's 2 quarterbacks right here that get taken before him. So this quarterback right here, probably a non-factor, unfortunately. Eli Heidenreich, my Navy guy right here. He probably wasn't even gonna get drafted until, or people probably didn't even think he was gonna get drafted until he got invited to the NFL's day 2 and day 3 to be there. And he was pronounced a running back, not a wide receiver, because he's also a wide receiver convert to running back. But you know, he lands in a pretty heavy room of Rico Dowdle. You know, they just paid him. Don't remember how many years, but they paid him. Jalen Warren. I don't remember if they just extended him. But they got. He has those 2 guys in front of him. I still think he could work a way into that offense. It's gonna suck for the time being, you know, while those 2 guys are in front of him. Maybe just a third down type of role, or like, you know, the reliever of the second guy or whatever, you know. But I still like him. I still think he's gonna be worth a pick. Injuries do happen, so Rico Dowdle or Jalen Warren could go down, and he's just automatically at least the second guy. If they both go down, hey, he's the first guy. Hey, trade him away. This is how you play the dynasty market. But he does have a chance there. Do you like that he was drafted? Period. So that's good. This other QB went. I was like, dude, Garrett Nussmeier is not going. This is crazy. Running back here, Seth McGowan. I actually had McGowan over Eli, so that's pretty crazy. He definitely has DJ Giddens. I couldn't remember the name earlier. DJ Giddens he's going to fight with, and then whoever took DJ Giddens like a handcuff backup role last season. I forget who it was. But he has a way to fight. You know, it sucks that he is going to be behind Jonathan Taylor, but, you know, the handcuff of that will always be valuable. Injuries are, you know, not really predictable, even though people like to say they are. You know, it is what it is. So he could have a role. You know, it just depends on camp and who beats out who and all that. So that would be interesting to see. Definitely has a chance. Jam Miller, sucks for him. Sucks for him right here. He could have gone to anywhere. He could have gone to Houston right here. He could have gone to the Eagles. I would have liked him more. He's already stuck in a, you know, there's already a 2-headed backfield in front of him, and now if he gets a role, it's a 3-headed backfield. You know, I remember seeing here, yeah, could grow into a bigger role and it's improved receiving and blocking, but those are Travion, so unless they kick Travion down, you know, and Jam Miller jumps above him, that'd be crazy. That'd be wild. He has a tough road ahead of him, but drafted. He's drafted. That's what you can always go off of. Tight end, I don't think this was anything. Also noticed that Jamari Taylor was not taken, and I had him above most of those guys. I do take a screenshot. I'll talk about it after though when I'm done with this. Mismatch, power player, long-term blocks, yeah, blocker. Nussmeyer here. So it's crazy. He fell all the way to 249. If he, he could beat out Justin Fields. He could start a game few weeks until November or whatever, whenever Patrick Mahomes gets there. So that's a chance there, but probably not. Um, I guess the other thing is like he could just sit behind Mahomes and learn behind Mahomes and everything for the next 4 years is usually what their contract is. Take a Matt Flynn type of contract. They think like he's a good enough backup. Maybe they give him a chance on a bad quarterback class in 4 years or whatever, and they want to get rid of him. Malik Willis just had a career arc type of thing like that. Traded. He only played like what? He only started like 3 games, I think, something like that. And he got paid a decent amount to be a starting quarterback, and at least for the year, or at least projected to be for the year, and they'll reevaluate next year. So I can see that type of arc for him. Probably not good enough to get drafted in your rookie leagues. Unfortunately, he'll just be sitting on your waiver wire all year, all next year, all the way until he leaves Kansas City, probably. It's quite unfortunate. He was number one, literally number one. I seen that he had like a cyst on his spine, but he was like a low risk type of injury or surgery, I should say. I don't remember if he had it done already, but this was like a way less risky surgery than McCoy, that cornerback earlier. So pretty crazy. I did see somebody talking about, I forget the quarterback that was drafted last year. He's on Miami. He's like a high profile guy. They said that they didn't want to take him early in the draft. Most that's the sentiment around the league. You don't want to take these big name, big profile, big recruit quarterbacks earlier in the draft, or you don't want them on your board at all. Is it like drives a threat to the quarterback room, makes people feel uncomfortable. They're too big of a name, blah blah blah, something like that. Man, maybe there's some truth to that. I could see it. It's unfortunate that he dropped so far down. Almost did not get drafted, essentially. Um, Wide receiver Deion Burks talked about this guy. This guy could be pretty decent. They got Pierce over there. Oh, especially because Pierce is going to be out until camp starts, I think. Until actual camp starts. He just had a surgery on his ankle or something like that. He's out for 3 to 4 months. So he's not gonna be easy. He's gonna miss OTAs, he's gonna miss spring ball, he's gonna miss all that voluntary workouts and everything. So Deion Burks could jump up there, work his way in with the opportunity, and maybe be able to fit a role. Maybe liability as a blocker. I think that was it. I think this guy is a blocking tight end. Yeah, run blocking. So I pulled up this. Don't know how updated this is, but this is just undrafted free agents. So we'll run through them real quick. Just see mostly my guys. The other one, let me see. Le'Veon Moss. I talked about him. Went to the Dolphins. That's a pretty good landing spot. Has a chance there to be the 2. Or fight for the 2. I forget who got drafted there last year. They like him a lot, actually. So he has a chance to fight for the 2. Jamari Taylor went to the Jags. Quite unfortunate for the Jags. Tudin's in the way. LaQuinn Allen's in the way. So probably nothing there. But let's go over these guys real quick. Cash Jones is Georgia guy. Vinny Jones. Receiver, QB. Diego Pavia as well. That's unfortunate for him. He was a top 3, in the running for the Heisman. Last 3 guys at the top there didn't even get drafted. Uh, Quite unfortunate. Desmond Reed, that's what I want to talk about on the Bills. So he could definitely carve out a 2 role there. RB2 role, maybe James Cook goes down. Bam, bam, bam. He could easily be a starter. But we're an undrafted free agency, you got to remember. So he might just take the value, walk away, trade as soon as he gets a start. If he takes that the 2 role and the RB and the 1B, he takes the 2 role and a 1-2 punch backfield type of thing. If he already secures that, you might just want to trade him to the Cook owner like automatically and just take your money and walk away because Cook doesn't really get hurt that much. I know he's hurt last season, but I think he played through it the whole time. So it sucks, but undrafted free agents, I think Austin Eckler is the only one I could think of, and he was like a unicorn. I'm pretty sure he was an undrafted free agent. He was a unicorn. He's a round 1 draft pick in fantasy land. He's a unicorn. He's small and he is crazy. So a unicorn of a free agent is pretty absurd. So Take your money, walk away. Miller Moss, Scott Thompson, Bennett, Noel Bennett, don't know. Haven't seen him. I had Mike Trigg on here earlier when I looked at it, but all right, here, Mike Trigg. So might be decent landing spot. Year 2, 3 jump. I wouldn't spend a draft pick on him, but yeah, I would keep him on your favorites on sleeper or whatever. Just trying to see over there if Ferguson leaves or whoever over there is right now. Could be something. Could be something. Is it even Ferguson over there? Am I tripping? Y'all know what I mean. CB, DB, DB, LB, DB, LB. So receiver, punter, running back, wide receiver, wide receiver, wide receiver. Don't know, no, 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 no. Um, Ott. Jaden Ott. It's so unfortunate that they drafted Emmett Johnson because if they did not take Emmett Johnson, I would be really high on Jaden Ott. Jaden Ott still, technically, he could still beat out Emmett Johnson. Emmett Johnson was a 5th-round pick and is undrafted free agency, so not too far apart. This would have been like a perfect team, for him to land on if they didn't take another running back. He has the pass production, before injuries and all that, and the weird schemes and everything. He would have been a good receiving back role at least something like that. But it's not looking too good. I saw that he is having the same coach as well, the same running coach. Came over to the Chiefs from Oklahoma, so maybe that's bad blood because he didn't have a good last season. Maybe it'll be good blood because he knows the situation that was going down. I don't know, honestly. It's a tough road for him. Tough road for him. But same thing, you know what it is. Trade them, trade them, trade them. As soon as they get the roll, re-roll that into a future asset. Roman Hemby right here, really liked him, but on the Raiders, oof, that's tough. He's gonna have to fight Mike Washington already. It's not looking too good. So hopefully he gets cut. And he ends up somewhere else. That'd be really cool. So Robinson, dang, that sucks. Definitely sucks for him. Running back, running back. Tight end, no. Running back, D Collars, CJ Watson. Not sure if there's anyone else. When I looked through it earlier, or when the recording messed up the first time, I think that was it. Cole Hardy and Cody Hardy. I'm assuming these are brothers, maybe twins, or they just messed up the name and this guy's on 2 teams now all of a sudden. See, running back. This might be it. Just check DT wide receiver. Paulings. Hopefully, Niners do something. You know what I mean? But you live with the Niners' decisions. Short from the Army. I think that was it. DB guard, running back. Ooh, Robert Henry Jr. Damn, from the top of my head, I just forgot who they had. They just drafted somebody. Katron Allen. So maybe he fights with Katron Allen. I did have Katron Allen above Robert Henry Jr. though, so it's not looking too good. Maybe they both just kick Bill out of the Bill Ja'Cory Crosby Merritt. They kick him out of the lineup. He wasn't that good. He had a lot of hype on him. People like to call him Bill. Fantasy footballers go Bill, 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 Bill. But he really was not that good. He had some good games, but that was pretty much it. That's it right now. So let me try to collect my thoughts. Hopefully this recording saves, and I will be able to try to re-rank 48, top 48. Hope you guys liked my thought process and analysis of day 3 of the NFL draft, rounds 4 to 7, and the undrafted free agents. Hopefully I gave you all some insight on how this affects rookie drafts as well. My tentative current draft ranking for these guys are, I kind of just looked at names and just kind of put them like, would I rather have this guy or this guy? So maybe some of them look kind of weird right now, but this is all I did for now. So let's get it. First round, 101, Jeremiah Love. 102, Carnell Tate. 103, Fernando Mendoza. 104, Jordan Tyson. 105, Makai Lemon. 106, Casey Concepcion. 107, Jadarian Price. 108, Kenyon Sadiq. 109, Eli Stowers. 110, Antonio Williams. 111, Omar Cooper Jr. 112, Ty Simpson. So I messed around with those rankings a little bit. Move some guys up, move some guys down, so you can see it on the screen. But here's round 2, 201, Deshaun Stribling. 202, Jeremy Bernard. 203, Denzel Boston. 204, Chris Bell. 205, Jacoby Lane. 206, Jonah Coleman. 207, Kalen Black. 208, Nick Singleton. 209, Emmett Johnson. 210, Ted Hurst. 211, Chris Burzell. 212, Mike Washington. Here we go, round 3. 301, Zachariah Branch. 302, Carson Beck. 303, Drew Allar. 304, Eli Raridon. 305, Max Clare. 306, Justin Jolie. 307, Brennan Thompson. 308, Adam Randall. 309, Dedmon Claiborne. 310, Caleb Douglas. 311, Malachi Fields. 312, Elijah Surratt. So I had a run of tight ends right there. I had a little run of running backs. This probably can go up and down a lot, but it was a lot of thinking. And what it depends on what your league values more and all that. But we'll see. Round 4 right here. 401, Oscar Delp. 402, Katron Allen. 403, Eli Heidenreich. 404, Seth McGowan. 405, Xavier Thomas. 406, Skylar Bell. 407, Kevin Coleman Jr. 408, Jam Miller. 409, Cole Payton. 410, Taylor Green. 411, Deion Burks. 412, Jack Endries. So, this draft hurt fantasy rookie drafts, like, for real. Definitely helping in the real NFL world rather than, and not our Divas fantasies. Hopefully you were able to trade your picks away, or somehow you could still trade your later picks now. Maybe that works out, but, this is my tentative list right now. Obviously, training camp comes and all that. More news comes out and all that. We'll see how the roster depth charts shake out and everything, and all these rankings will change once again. And you'll have to come back again. Sorry, that's how it is. That's how off seasons go. But don't forget your daily dose of send that trade. Send it. But that's it for today. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and remember, rebuilds fade, dynasties reign.